Alrighty, guys, welcome to St. Charles MMA. So I went 4-5 on my Dana White's Contender Series picks. So what I want to do now is do some matchmaking for some of these fights. So first off, Ahmad Hassan Sada, who I did get correct, subbed Dylan in the third round. I think a good fight for this guy is gonna be Kanan Krajewski. Okay, so this is a gentleman who also beat Mantello on the Dana White's Contender Series last year in a better fashion, mind you. In the first round, he subbed Mantello. Okay, but I do think Hassan Sada had a better version of Mantello this time around. But still, this guy subbed him in the first round, but he has lost twice since getting to the UFC. So he lost to Elvis Brenner, he lost to Kurt Hollabaugh. So I think this could be a good fight. It'll give Kanan basically probably his last chance with his contract in the UFC, and it gives Ahmed time to show off some of his skills against a guy who's actually fighting out of Fighting Nerds. So definitely a really good team he has. So who knows? He might be able to get the victory, and also gives him a chance, Kanan specifically, to come back from his two losses. Okay, next is gonna be and first of all, I don't know if you saw these fights, okay, but Ahmed got freaking dropped bad. I think it was in the second round. Oh my goodness, maybe it was the first. I was about to be so upset. Dylan looked great, at least with his striking, but he got subbed. So, but that drop was insane. Okay, so next one, Ateba Gautier and Uranado. So I definitely got this one wrong. Nato, it looked like he was controlling things, but this guy Ateba is just too strong, and once he gets his wrestling defense and once he gets that up, he's gonna be a monster, an absolute monster. And I mean, he showed that he has that because he hurt Nato real bad. So I think a good fight for him is gonna be Cody Brundage. So obviously, Brundage is a good wrestler. That would force Ateba to really work on that wrestling. He'll have a puncher's chance against Brundage. Now Brundage is, his fight with Al Hassan was a no contest, but he's coming off that loss from Bo Nickel. Had 2 wins before that. Had lost to Cedric Dumas, so not bad losses. Dumas has been doing well, other than one loss recently, and Bo Nickel obviously has been undefeated. And he also beat Jacob Malkoun, Zach Reese, decent, okay guys in the UFC. So I think this will be a winnable fight for Brundage for sure, but also something that Ateba can really work on his wrestling and his defense specifically, and possibly give us another highlight knockout. Don't have to talk about that one. I did guess this one correctly. Bennett just didn't do enough, and even Dana thought it was a robbery. So, okay, now we got John Jones and Teixeira. So I did go for Teixeira, but the data online was all mixed up. It had Arthur Lopez at 265. Obviously, because he's heavyweight, they were probably just inputting the information. He went in there at 218. So this dude is, he'd be small for a light heavyweight. So he was real small in there. He was banging with Teixeira. He caught him with some shots. He did, but ultimately, 40 pounds weight difference. He got bodied. It is what it is. Teixeira, looking pretty good for an heavyweight. I would say we don't want to throw him to the wolves as of yet, but I think a good matchup for him is going to be Junior Tafa. So I know we just said not to throw him to the wolves, and this dude bangs. But Tafa is coming off of 2 losses, Walter Walker and Rogerio de Lima, which, if you think about it, those are not the worst losses, right, in heavyweight. But he lost to Usman, who, if you know anything about Muhammad Usman, not really a great fighter at all. He beat Parker Porter, but he's lost 2 in a row. So I think kind of give him his last chance. They probably won't kick him out even if he loses this fight, just because Tafa brothers. But I think this would be a good fight for Teixeira, something he could really test out his, because he was getting caught. He was getting caught by Lopez, by Arthur Lopez. So, if he can polish up his defense a little bit, hurt someone like Tafa, or even just outbox him for, outstrike him for 3 rounds, whatever. That could be a winnable fight for him, but it's also winnable for Tafa, right? Tafa needs a win. This is a dude coming in real green. He can knock this dude out, right? Possibly. So good fight for him. All right, and then lastly, Elijah Smith and Aaron Tao. So I don't know if you watched the fight, but I am surprised both these guys didn't get a contract. Tao came in, he was pushing himself like to come back. He started coming back in that third round. That third round was real close. I would actually give that to Tao, and I think they did. It was 29-28 across the board. But Smith, had some sick striking. Even had a submission attempt. He was looking really good. He had some good takedowns as well. He showed that he's very, just dynamic in his game. Definitely is going to be a problem. There's these dudes now coming up in bantamweight. 5'9" and up, 5'9", 5'10", 5'8", a little bit taller for the bantamweight division, and these dudes are animals. I don't know how they're gonna work at the top of the division, with these wrestler guys, but this guy's only 22, so I think he has a good chance. I would say we don't want to throw him to the wolves as well. Young guy, we want to really build him up and help him kind of continue to work on his game while giving him decent competition. Anyone in the UFC usually is pretty decent competition. But we want to give him Callan Loughran. So I think it's Loughran or Loughran. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but this guy coming off of a loss to Jake Hadley, had beat Angel Pacheco earlier this year and lost to Taylor Lapilus as well. So he's 2-1 in the UFC. I do think this is a winnable fight for Loughran. I don't think he'd win. I think Smith would win this fight, but I think it'd be a good fight for him to show what level is he at, right? This is a guy who just lost to Jake Hadley, who's obviously a little bit higher in the division now. Also, he beat Angel Pacheco. I think me saying that, like, who is Angel Pacheco, right? We don't know. So even though he's in the UFC, I don't know, unless you're like a super hardcore fan, you probably don't know who that guy is. So I think this would be a good fight for him. Really, this is going to be something that he's going to be able to show off his all around game. And Loughran does like to wrestle. He strikes as well. So obviously Smith's striking is notably probably better, just off the rip, just from watching this fight. But he'll really get some of that wrestling tested as well. Tao really didn't push that too much yet. Two takedown attempts. Loughran probably would attempt that a lot more. So it'll be good for Smith to really get an idea of the UFC and what's expected of him. So those are my matchmakings for this last Contender Series. Once again, I got 4 out of my 5 picks correct. So if you like prediction videos and things of that nature, matchmaking, go ahead, subscribe. I'll be doing some more. I'll be releasing one for this upcoming fight night this weekend. So stay tuned for that. God bless.